We're gonna start in the UK mod collection this week because look at this SG special. That is fantastic. It reminds me of those crazy Dean guitars that are just all one color, being pink, green, and apparently they've got a yellow one now. I had one of the bases once and I just thought that was the coolest thing with the black block inlays. I would love to see this be a limited edition release. Make like 10 of the usual exotic neon colors and call it a day. But this one's just a pink splatter. You got your regular P90s otherwise with your black pickguard. Apparently, this artist is very neat and didn't get any of the paint on the back. Maybe we could have at least had a pink Gibson logo, but you've got your new black tuner tips. But they called it the Fuchsia Neon Splash, and it was on sale for about €1,600. Because that's something to know about the shop. It's currently having a 15% off sale, but that is EU mod collection only. This next one has the strangest name, Tropical Fishy. But it's like this really cool aqua blue border with a purple center. And then it looks like, hey, we haven't seen those things in a while. The marbled pickup rings with a slight lavender hue, as well as a moto style pickguard, and then our straight up white knobs. I really like the look of this thing. I was almost going to say they dialed the headstock back just with a Moto truss rod cover, but it does actually appear to have maybe a light sparkle flake to it. So there might be a slight purpleness there. And man, they did it. Back, neck, headstock, everything. It's listed for about €2,700. The next SG is a blending between hot pink and ebony. Like, did you even realize this actually still has a bat wing guard pick guard? I didn't until looking at it for a second. But now that I look at it closer, it appears the edges are still going to be black. So that's just a striking pink contoured edge. Then you've got your chrome metal knurled knobs. Headstock is black. And now let's see here. Yep, you get the continuation of the contoured edges being gloss pink. And hey, here we go. Here's that photo that documents that the complete edge will still be black. Looks like some of the pink sparklies ended up getting in the black finish though. But that one's listed at about €1,600. Take a second to appreciate our candid shots here. Do you like it? Do you not? I'm not so sure about that one. Maybe a different color combination. Guitar Center actually has a used mod collection guitar in their inventory. That's kind of like this, black top, but then it's pinstripe red and then white, and then you get to black again. So it's certainly not a new idea, but here's a different take on its color scheme. But when I first saw this one, I thought, oh yeah, we're reissuing the Voodoo Explorer, except for this time it's a black sparkle finish and we don't have the swamp ash body, but we still have the Voodoo pickups and the red switch tip. Hey, and even the Voodoo knobs. And oh, I think I found my thumbnail for tonight. Gibson Explorers don't usually have the logo there. I wonder what possessed them to do that. That would have looked awesome up here. What's next? Are they going to start putting it on the back of the headstock and just have double logos? I kid, but the entire thing is sprayed over. Is there no backplate? No, it's just very, very heavily covered in that paint. But this one was listed in the shop on sale at $25.50. Heavy metal flake indeed. And this one they called Raucous Raspberry. Looks a little bit more like a blood orange to me, but seems to be some sort of a metallic paint job. And the black plastics make it look even darker. Headstock got a blank truss rod cover, and you have the Schaller style tuner tips. And the back just appears to be cherry. Not much different on that one. This one's for somebody who wants something a bit more traditional on the back, but yet just a little bit of funness on the top. But now the USA mod collection was working overtime. We've got 14 listings to go over. A lot of them are old repeats though that have been re-uploaded. Our first one is the Black Cherry 60 Standard. Kind of like our last one, it's just more of a maroon hue. No pickguard again, and the black plastics. But on this, we do have a lightly tinted headstock to match the coloring and black tuner tips, and the entire back matches our new paint job. That appears to be a satin finish. Next is a 57 reissue in what they called Northern Sky. This is just a really exotic out there finish. So it's a really bright, heavy metal flake blue, but then you've got the sparkles on top of it that are going to turn colors from green to yellow, and you even get a little bit of gold in there. You've got 3 humbuckers, the middle one being uncovered to vary up the look, and then you got this giant Bigsby on it in chrome. And to complement off of that, you got your reflector knobs. The headstock has a very light yellow tint to just the center portion that has the logos, and then they complement that with the super aged looking tuner tips. Then whoa, that caught me off guard, just a red neck, okay. But the back is at least the whole sparkly blue. But yes, this is one of the re-uploaded ones. It's back when they were still marking these mod instead of Gibson mod collection, and that's Demo Shop Serial 126. Next up in metallic cyan satin, it's a ES335 with our small block inlays, this time being done up with gold hardware with our new baby blue finish. It appears the headstock got some sort of a matching sparkliness to complement the new gold adorning it. And then nice, it's one of the 335s that gets the full paint job. Typically they leave out the neck, but that one is available for $4,600. This one at first just appears to be a black SG standard with some changed tuners. But if you read the title, it actually says Ebony Gold Flake. Oh man, this is rather unfortunate. They did not upload the up-close body shot. So zooming in is the best I can do, and yeah. Apparently there's some gold in there somewhere, but we cannot judge that from the photos. But you do have the open back tuners. And there's our namesake. Looks like you've got some light gold glitter flake within the black. This one was given the name Flaming Melon. I mean, it does look like a watermelon that's been set on fire and the rind has now turned black rather than green. I would have loved to have seen a dark green border that also has the slight swirls like a melon. Throw some seeds on your pick guard, have yourself a picnic. Headstock looks about normal, and the back is just a natural summer's day. All yours for the price of $3,300. Here's our green, but this time they called it a sliced avocado, but that flame top is really pinstripey at a slight angle. Then you get the wood grain underneath it, making that crosshatch pattern. If that top wasn't crazy enough, then you get your new edition of the finish. And your witch hat knobs, uncovered pickups, really interesting looking rosewood fretboard on that one. Inlays are a very yellowed hue as well. The headstock has a certain goofy quality to it. I'm not sure what exactly it is. Looks like a bolder and slightly more askew than usual Les Paul model silkscreen. And then the Gibson USA style truss rod cover with the historic tuners, but with a more modern looking set of tips. And then they threw a natural back on it just for fun. But that's another old one, marked mod, DS serial 165. That can be yours for $6,400. The next is called Sage Stone. Believe it or not, this is a 59 reissue. Not traditional by any means. I would not imagine there's a real 59 burst out there with a hue anywhere similar, but there were some ugly avocado colored guitars back then. But you've got the perimeter burst with leaving out your pick guard, and the black reflectors are an interesting choice. It accents the outside edge. And the little diagonal flames over here are very eye-catching. Headstock's making this pretty apparent. It's a satin refinish. And oh, open pore satin on the back even. Bright natural neck. It's number 166, and at this price of $6,200, I can kind of understand why it's one of the ones that hasn't sold, but at least we can see that it does have a gloss top. This one is the Bronze Cosmos for $3,300. It's got kind of an interesting brown sparkly finish, but then you got a whole bunch of stripes on the side and a blacked out headstock. Sure enough, that's one of those black bound standards. So that means this was a new one, but they even continued on the stripe job to the back. You get the sparklies everywhere. That is a pretty cool standard, and I can understand why it sold for a very slight premium. But I'm wondering if that was a messed up run, because I thought it was only the mahogany topped ones that got the black binding as of right now. And they're still saying it's a maple top. This SG was called the Crimson Diablo. It looks like another continuation of the design that we've been seeing a lot. The top is a little bit brighter of a metallic red, and then they went to just a slightly darker shade on the edge. Now this one, I think it works. It accents it incredibly well. And it looks like you might get the continuation of that on the back of the body, but as far as the neck, that just appears to be a deep dark cherry. That one is available at $2,400. But this standard 50s Aqua Sparkle, man, that's in your face at $36. Gotta be careful with that one, it might blind you. And then on top of that, you get the P94 in the neck, humbucker in the bridge. Interesting choice of the red knobs. They're almost a bit too powerful, especially when compared to your rosewood fretboard. It makes it look more dull. We threw mini Grovers onto the headstock and then completely blacked it out. And that theme continues onto the back, except for cream back plates. Takes you back to the early 2000s when they were doing a whole bunch of sparkle tops and then just black backing them. One of my favorites out of the USA mod collection this week, though, has to be this BB King Lucille Legacy in Delta Moss Burst at $78. It's got this really great swampy look to it. A little bit of blue, mainly a dark green. Still got your Veritone and your golden reflector knobs. TP6 tailpiece. I feel if you're going to buy one of these, you should get an exotic finished one, because this thing just stands out and says class. But hey, we've still got the Lucille on the headstock. But whoa, color me shocked. They actually made a custom backplate for it in Moto. Doesn't match this guitar at all in my opinion, but it's there. You get some interesting bubbly wood grain. But uh-oh, this one's sick. It's a $2,400 gangrene guitar. It's a nice metallic green color. Not much more to say about that one, but it's one of the newer studios that has the binding. And oh, kind of looks like a amateurly spray painted with a stenciled Gibson logo. Yeah, not a big fan of that. The S is just too bold and the O too wonky. But hey, I do kind of like the back. That natural and green work well together. Nice! Government green case. I can see why this sold now. A little bit more traditional, there's the 60 standard in toasted honey. Whoa, excuse me? $3,600? It's a Gibson USA. I mean, it looks good, don't get me wrong. The coloration between the knobs and the finish work beautifully, but I don't think it's worth that much of a premium. You might as well get a used R8 at this point. But at least the backwood grain is nice. And then lastly, this one doesn't have a name. Not in the title, not in the finish, but if you go down here, it does have one. But for $5,600, you basically get a red into an orange fade, kind of Fender-like in style. I like this wood grain pattern right there. That really stands out. Could be a good or a bad thing. But our headstock was about the same, and you just got completely natural on the back, with looks like serial number 267. That was a whole lot of guitars. So to make up for all that work, the USA Demo Shop uploaded nothing this week. Catch you guys tomorrow on the next one. Take care.